match for a good blaster at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode, Tyler watched Resistance and Michael didn't. Some stuff about Vader's castle, as well as episode 9. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome to episode 83.
Hello.
So, Michael,
I
heard you had an exciting day.
I did. I passed an Auric dealership. Do they call them dealerships?
Do you try them out?
What makes it a dealership? What adds the extra, the ship on the end? Is it the car thing that adds that? What?
Because the car is the ship of the road?
Why do you have weed dealers and car dealerships? Thank you. That's been my time for tonight.
That's a valid question. Yeah. Okay. Can you use weed and then pass it on like cars?
Yeah. Can you drive weed?
Can you? Now we're asking the serious question.
Can you drive weed off the lot? Does it depreciate?
Yeah.
Can you buy insurance for your weed?
It's worth 10% less as soon as you take it out the door.
That's true. Is that no, weed doesn't depreciate, right? If you locked weed in a closet for a year, does it
go bad?
Yeah.
What are you asking?
Does weed go bad?
Does it have a shelf life?
Does it? I don't know.
I mean, it would just be dry. Dry weed. Drier weed. Yeah. Interesting conversation. Thank you for bringing up the Auric dealership and going straight to weed.
I passed an Auric dealership. When was the last time you saw an Auric anything?
I don't think. I wonder if half the people even know what that is.
Auric was the Dyson before Dyson, right? Basically, but with less design.
Yeah, they were pretty big.
And the president looked like Bob Iger with a mustache.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
I think so, as far as I remember.
In my mind, he looks like Bob Iger with a mustache. Or
that's how I dream of him every night. When he's vacuuming my carpet.
You know how when you fall asleep
and the Auric man
comes to you in your dreams?
Yeah, he cleans
when that happens?
He cleans everything up. Everything.
He opens every little dirty crevice and cleans it.
You know,
Auric man.
Bob Iger with a mustache. That guy. Totally normal.
When was the last time you saw the Auric man?
People on the street, or you like, I picture you on the sidewalk in a busy city asking people with a microphone that's too big.
Holy shit, his name is David Auric. I didn't know that. I thought that was
He's the Auric man.
I thought he was just the spokesperson. Okay, he doesn't look anything like Bob Iger, so I don't know what I was thinking about.
Now your dreams are ruined.
He looks like Guy Fieri without hair.
Oh, God.
Does that look like Guy Fieri without hair?
Yeah, kind of. If he was like 20 years older.
Yeah, like an old Guy Fieri.
We'll get there someday, guys.
Who is this? Wow. Yeah, post that on Twitter.
Michael's now on just Google Images, just looking up hot bald men.
This year, I wanted to keep my holiday card simple. Nothing controversial. Just back to basics. Blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and a big American smile. From Ambassador Bruce Auric.
Ambassador Bruce?
Ambassador Bruce Auric. Is that his son? Is his son an ambassador?
I like to think that his first name is Ambassador, and
Bruce
his second
Auric.
name is Bruce.
He's an American politician.
No relation to the Auric
Man.
Man.
He was the
or
ambassador
vacuum?
to Finland. Is he related to the Auric Man?
I hope so.
It's spelled the same way.
There can only be one, Michael. There can't be more than one Auric Man.
Auric has authored several books on taxation.
It's just like vacuums.
And he has a big American smile.
Right.
Happy holidays, Ambassador Bruce Auric.
From 2006.
Why is this tattoo going over his shirt? This tattoo is coming off of his chest.
There's a tattoo on his chest that goes onto his shirt.
It's coming out of his chest and going onto his shirt.
His tattoos are peeling. You know how your tattoos just peel? He needs to slap it back up on the top of his neck.
It's like it's a toupee, and it's just flopped to the other side.
Right.
He needs to
and
put
he hasn't
it back
noticed yet.
on the other side.
Right.
So anyway.
So after that important announcement.
Yep.
You have not watched Resistance.
No,
The Resistance.
No, I had planned to today, and I ran out of time. before I could.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the thought that counts
That's not at all.
when it comes to making content.
When it comes to content, I thought about it.
I thought about having something to talk about, and then nothing.
I watched the first 3 episodes this past weekend
Mhm.
with my son, and he enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good thing.
What?
It wasn't bad.
Why?
So the first episode is like a TV movie length, full an hour, 45 minutes
Mhm.
deal. And then there's been 2 other episodes since then that are the normal like 24, 26 minutes. And it is much more it's hard to describe. It's not Rebels. At least how I saw Rebels.
Okay.
It is much more relaxed. It feels more comfortable with itself. If that makes any sense.
So not how Rebels and Clone Wars felt when they first start.
Yeah,
Where
it's
it
just
was
kind of
kind of-
like amped up. Like it's just kind of like, look at all the things we're doing.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's just like very like,
Huh.
here's the story we're telling. It's very just slow. It doesn't seem to like rush to get to any plot related items. I don't know. It just feels very comfortable in its skin and very just
Interesting.
smooth in
Okay.
what it's trying to do. So the first episode is this pilot kid who's trying to get some intel back to the New Republic. He's a fighter or a pilot for the New Republic, and runs into that red TIE fighter is chasing them.
Mhm.
We don't know who that is yet. But he is saved by Poe and Princess Leia's. I think it's Princess Leia's ship. Her big.
That
Alder-
shuttle.
Yeah, her big
Right.
Alderaanian ship.
Yeah.
And Poe talks to him about joining the Resistance, basically, because the kid was kind of snooping around and heard some stuff about the First Order from him while Poe was talking to Leia, because he was just kind of looking around the ship and was like all big, huge fan of Poe. But anyways, he was asked to join the Resistance. The kid has like daddy issues. He's like a privileged kid. Like his dad bought him into being a pilot in the Republic.
This is the main kid you're
The
talking
main
about.
character, Yaz, I think it is, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so his dad is like, I bought your way into the Navy. I paid for your flights, for your like pilot school, and like his dad's all very stereotypical like Asian father
Uh-huh.
of like, I did all these things and you have to do the like he has an Asian accent. I'm not being racist. And so he was saying that, and because the kid was going to call his father to basically like ask permission or tell him he was going to join the Resistance, because it was a big like no, don't do that. And so his dad was talking to him down like that about how I paid for you to get into all this and all that. What do you need now? What do you need me to do for you?
Okay.
He's like, oh, never mind, and just hangs up on him and joins the Resistance and is sent to be a spy on this pilot, like this
Right
like,
away.
this Poe takes him and puts him on this rig in the middle of this ocean on this planet that has like some of the best pilots, because they think there is someone there working for the First Order, either getting them pilots or doing something for them. So they're trying to get information. So they place this kid.
The rig that it's on is not a Resistance rig.
Nope. It's just a there's
pilot thing.
Yep. There's a cantina, and they have races around. They like races like pilot races. They have flying races through these rings. So you've
So
seen
it's not
commercials.
affiliated with any.
Not really.
faction?
No. There's a guy that's in charge. Like he's like the head. He's like over everything. We haven't really seen him yet.
Right.
But they have like races that they bet on. Those, if you've seen the commercials, like
Yeah.
the rings they're flying through. Those are races that people are betting on, and
Right.
he wants to fly in the races.
Okay.
And the guy that's over the whole rig is his daughter's one of the pilots that flies in the races.
So it's like it's a gambling thing. It's
There's
a game?
just like it's a bunch of pilots and there's like a mechanics, so the way Poe knows or has any contacts here is there's a guy, Yeager, who we thought was Jaeger before. It's Yeager.
Yeager.
He fought with Poe in the Battle of Jakku and all that.
Interesting.
But now he's just a mechanic on this station.
Okay.
So Poe, the guy doesn't want to have any involvement with the Resistance or anything. Like he's out. But he takes on Yaz to be a quote mechanic, even though the kid knows nothing other than how to fly. He doesn't know how to work on a ship at all.
Okay.
He just is a pilot.
Yeah.
But he's going to just try to like be eyes and ears to try to find out any information he can. But Yeager's like, you still have to like do stuff here. You can't just like bum off of me and all that. So he's actually trying to make him work and do stuff.
Okay.
And BB-8 was left with Yaz on the station as well.
Interesting.
So it's just so far of the episodes, it's really just been this kid bumbling around because he's kind of privileged.
Yeah.
He's not used to not having money, and he doesn't know anything about being a mechanic. And just it's not been about Jedi, or it's not really gotten any more into the Resistance other than the little bit we've seen, and we've seen a little bit of the First Order. It looks like they're going to try to take over this rig possibly because of the like the Baron or whatever that's in charge of it.
Yeah.
But we don't even know too much about that yet. We've seen Phasma once. She said like one line. But otherwise, it's just like this story about this kid who is not a Jedi or all that important, right?
Right, just a normal person.
Right. It's like
Typical
how we've talked before about like just give us just a normal,
Yeah.
Just a normal story in Star Wars world, right? Where it doesn't have to be about the Force and the Jedi and
Or the main characters,
or
even.
more important than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like I would just enjoy a good story in the setting of Star Wars, right? And so
Yeah.
far that's been what it is. It's just a different a different location with different people. Even though the First Order is involved, they're still in their early stages, so we don't know much about them or where they're even at this point. So what we do learn will be new stuff, but it's just been this kid figuring out kind of being alone and making friends and whatever.
Right.
And the humor that is in it isn't like the Chopper humor from Rebels, which I guess that's what I think of when I think of kind of just like dumb, cheap humor.
Yeah.
Is the Chopper stuff.
Cheap and quippy and fast.
It feels more like
that kind of stuff.
it feels like anime humor almost, where it's just like there's like something hits somebody and they're like, whoa, and then it's like over. Like it's a very quick like
Really
humor thing. Yeah. So the show it reminds me, and that's how we talked about like the art style reminded us of some of the newer type animes.
Yeah.
But even with that, just the way it's quiet like an anime is almost, where it's like it's not overly loud or obnoxious as a show.
Mostly dialogue.
It's
would you
comfortable.
Because that's how an anime show is.
Not a ton. I mean, yes and no, because there's the piloting, the flying stuff, and the races, and there is some humor and silly stuff like there is in anime. But like an anime, it just seems like just calmer, like toned down. Like it doesn't have to be loud and in your face.
Huh.
At least that's how I've felt it so far. And
Yeah.
the plot lines in the few episodes that there've been so far have been very, I don't know, just normal, normal TV show plot lines. Like the latest episode,
Yeah.
Apparently Yeager has like just a little bottle of, they were calling it like hot sauce and a bunch of other stuff, but it's basically coaxium. It's hyperfuel.
Okay.
And one of the pilots on the station, who is played by Elijah Wood.
Really? Is he
Brent-
a recurring character?
I think so. He's a pilot on the station.
Okay.
He becomes friends with Yaz, like becomes friends with him to get into Yeager's place and steals it because he wants to put some in his ship for the next flight, for the next race.
Yeah.
And they, when they find out it's stolen, Yeager's like, if anyone puts more like a drop of that or doesn't know what they're doing in their ship will blow up and kill them. And Yaz is like, oh, and like goes and stops him and like rips him out of, like jumps onto his ship before it takes off. And hits something to open up the canopy, falls inside, and like the ship drops because the ship's like lowered underneath the platform and like on these like these big grabber hands, and the ships like take off from those.
Right.
But it released and the ship started dropping, and like as they're like he's trying to grab him out of the ship, he like kicks something to start the ship and it starts flying off, and then kicks something else and ejects the seat with both of them, and then the ship blows up.
Huh.
So like the whole plot of that was Elijah Wood, Rickles, something I can't remember.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles, yes, Don Rickles. Elijah Wood as Don Rickles.
Is it Rucklin?
Rucklin, yeah, that's it.
Right.
So he, it's just as TV shows go, it's that story of person with bad intentions tries to pretend to be friends with somebody and then steals something and does a thing. Right, so it seems that's a very, I don't know, typical storyline for a TV show, but at the same time, it's like nice to have a Star Wars show where everything's not all Jedis and the Force.
Interesting.
Which is kind of like what we were talking about with The Mandalorian. Like it'll be nice to have a live action TV show. One, we've never had one, but two, having something of that format like the movies that just
Yeah.
doesn't have Jedis of the Force, right? It's just a story taking place in
Right.
that universe,
Right.
where there doesn't have to be all these amazing, crazy things happening all the time. It's just people doing people things,
Right.
which to me is exciting, just because.
I imagine with that show you would run into some type of like maybe Force acolytes or some kind of like religious cults or
In
like
in the
some,
Mandalorian,
yeah.
possibly, yeah.
I could see that kind of
And
stuff
in
happening
the
there.
Resistance, there's really no need for that. I mean, at
Right.
this
It
point,
seems centered around this group.
it's just
Yeah.
like there's this cool platform with mechanics and ships, and the ships are all really cool, and the
I'm sure it'll
all
go
of that looks you
off
never
from
know.
there, but
Right. But unlike Rebels starting off the bat with like the Force and Jedis and look at all this crazy new stuff that you have to
right.
jump on board with, it's just like it's very toned down and normal.
Yeah.
Which I think I don't know,
Huh,
maybe it's
that's
because they've
interesting.
realized that they need to put out stuff like that now. And because they're especially if they're ending the Skywalker saga, right? We need
Yeah.
to like find other stories in Star Wars that aren't them.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go with it, and if they can continue, if they can keep it that grounded as it seems to be so far. Because
Well, yeah, it's like
I enjoyed it.
It's probably like what you're saying. I mean, the art style seems kind of new anime,
right.
so maybe the format of the show is kind of taking hints from that too.
Could be. I mean,
So yeah, that's interesting.
it's not as
It's not what I expected from this
right,
show.
and it's not like because when I was watching it, we were watching it on Saturday morning. We were eating bowls of cereal. It was very Saturday morning cartoon time with me and my son. But like it reminded me watching that of sitting of Saturday morning cartoons when I would watch like Toonami and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely not as slow and quiet and drawn out as like Dragon Ball Z is, because that just is
That just
it
goes on
just sits
forever.
in silence while people stare at each other for half an hour. As much as I love it. Do you remember the old show? What was it? Was it called Reboot?
Reboot? Or does it sound
Oh, I gotta
familiar?
find it.
What was
That's
it about?
what
Describe
that's
it.
the show. It was like early computer animated show, like almost anime-esque.
Early computer animated show.
It was
with
let
anime.
me see if I can find it. It was Canadian.
I don't know.
Do you remember that show, Reboot?
Oh yeah, that does look familiar.
Yeah, it was like super early computer
Yeah.
animated TV show. It for some reason it evokes memories of Reboot in my mind, and I don't know why. That show it ran from 94 to 2001.
Wow,
so that was
really?
like prime Saturday
know it.
morning cartoon watching time for me.
Right.
For some reason, it evokes Reboot memories, like just like that. I don't know, maybe because of the art style, but also just kind of like being quiet but different. I don't know. It's very hard to explain the way the show makes me feel.
Interesting. Well, that's not at all what I thought it was going
which
to be.
is not what I expected out of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
so you should watch it because it's not.
I mean,
it's not Rebels.
Look, I didn't like either of the trailers, sure, but I'm not.
It is not the trailers at all.
Yeah, I'm not discounting the show. Well, I am. Right off the bat, I guess I am. Well, but I'm still willing to see it. I'm not going to ignore it.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, I had planned to watch it
Yeah.
before this episode, but didn't get a chance. So definitely by next episode, I'll have caught up or at least seen the first.
I think it airs on. It's either Saturdays or Sundays. I think. When was the 21st? That was Sunday, wasn't it? I think it airs on Sunday nights.
It does because the next episode is supposed to air on the 28th of October.
Yeah. So there's 3 episodes.
So
First
that's this
episode's
Sunday.
45 minutes. The second and third episodes are the regular 25-ish minutes.
The rating on IMDb is not great so far.
Well, it's
got
Star Wars though, so doesn't that just automatically get like downvoted to hell?
Really, you think so?
I mean, it's a toxic environment.
It's 5.1 out of 10. I haven't read the actual reviews, but wow, a lot of 28.6% 1-star reviews. So yeah, that seems like
That's weird.
purposeful downvoting.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not at the place where I would rate 1 star for this. I mean, I still want to see it.
Right. But I mean, it's Star Wars. It's like, oh, there's a new Star Wars thing. You stole my childhood. Downvote. They haven't even watched it. Like that's probably most of those are probably before, like when it was announced and like listed on IMDb. They just instantly put a 1 star, right?
Interesting.
But
so
yeah, anyone that didn't enjoy Rebels, like we may not have enjoyed Rebels, even though we understand its place. I think you should at least try it because I'm going to continue watching it.
Right. This is funny. IMDb breaks down ratings by demographic. Okay. So it has all ages right now, obviously 5.1. That's what it's at. 18 and below, 9 people, 18 and below. 18 to 29, 170 people rated it. Yep. 30 to 44, ages 30 to 44, 219 people. So the majority of the people watching this are older than us.
And complaining about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to me. 45 plus, 82 people. That's still more than below 18. And
a show on Disney Channel.
Approaching the 18 to 29.
Like 80% of the people, right? Something like more, maybe more than that.
For what?
Or like over 20. Like 80% of the people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely. At least, you know.
Well, I'd say probably like 95% of the people are over 20.
And then the people over, what, over
30 to 44, 219. So out of 795 total, that's, what is that, roughly a third?
Right.
Something like that, a little more than
are on IMDb complaining about a cartoon on Disney Channel.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But not so I would say there's a difference between what we're doing or what I'm doing. I'll say because you have a different
complaining about it.
Yeah, you have a different opinion than me. I'm not watching it and complaining about it, but I'm not going on social media and ranting about it. I'm not rating it on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that. I'm just talking about it. Like, you know,
like a human being.
Right. Like we've said, like this show is just us having a conversation about this stuff. That's what I've been doing so far.
I guarantee you most of those reviews are just people having never watched it at all, complaining that there's a cartoon on Disney Channel and complaining that they ruined their childhood and Luke would never have done what he did.
So now get this.
I guarantee you half of those reviews mention The Last Jedi.
Half of these people have reviewed The Last Jedi?
No, have reviewed The Resistance and have mentioned something about The Last Jedi and ruining their childhood in their review.
Well,
it's got to be in there at probably not half the time, but a good chunk of those people probably reference other stuff that they don't like before having even seen the show.
Okay, here's a 1 out of 10 review. This doesn't seem like Star Wars. I watched 3 episodes. It has spaceships, you got aliens, etc., but it didn't feel to be a part of the Star Wars universe.
Oh, God.
That's a pretty big claim.
You ass.
Characters are just stuck in a single place despite of a whole galaxy. Despite of a whole...
Well, they're on the internet.
Wait, that's not even what he said. Characters are just stuck in a single place despite of a whole galaxy around it.
Despise. He's a spy. So I got that. So he's talking about despise.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right.
Reword it, obviously. No big story behind, and the chemistry between characters were really bad. This is pretty good.
So,
wait, hold on. It keeps going.
Oh no.
The dialogues are fast paced.
Oh, there's more than one dialogue. All right. So
he's rating this 1 star, and he writes the dialogues are fast paced, which makes the characters looks silly and hard to establish a bond. This is good. About the art. Man. Oh boy, here we go.
All right, so this person put in time to complain about the show.
This person is definitely an artist and is absolutely 100% qualified to rate the art style.
And English is their second language.
Or third. About the art. I don't like the 3D cell shading art style, but I can survive it.
It's not killing them yet. It's almost they're almost dying because of the art style.
The story and characters were pretty boring and dumb. Immediately moves on from the art style.
The art style's all right, but the characters is dumb.
You know what this is? Do you remember how many people were complaining about when the first trailer came out about the art style and how kind of weird they thought it was?
Yeah.
So he put that line in there. Like that seems like he just quoted somebody from somewhere else that he saw.
So do people understand that, like, There's not like a cartoon machine that they like put a story into and it pumps out the same look for every show. I mean, I don't understand what the art style complaint is. It's not Rebels. It doesn't look like Rebels. Is that the complaint? Or are they complaining that it doesn't look like SpongeBob? Like, I don't know. Where is the complaint? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I saw Sin City, did anyone complain that Sin City didn't look like Lord of the Rings? Like, I mean, was there a complaint? Like, I don't like the art style of Sin City. It doesn't look like Lord of the Rings to me. Like, no shit. It's a different thing made by different people.
Wow. So this guy has reviewed Incredibles 2, Supergirl, the TV show.
I'm sure.
Interstellar, and Next Gen, the Netflix animated show that came out this year.
All right.
And
what do you give Next Gen?
Wow, the first review was in August 5th. And then his latest review is October 8th, Star Wars Resistance. So he just joined.
He got on the IMDb train.
He's been a member for 2 years and 10 months, but he just started reviewing last month or 2 months ago.
Yeah. One day he was like, I'm going to do something with my life. Then he got on IMDb and he started writing reviews.
The title of his Pixar in Incredibles 2 review is Seems Pixar is Loosing, LOOSING, Loosing it is touch. This is great. So these are the type of people watching Star Wars Resistance and giving it bad ratings. So
I don't understand most of those complaints, but sure.
His last line of his Resistance rating or review is, the thumbs down on the trailers were really true. I don't recommend to waste your time on this. Who would recommend wasting their time?
I'd recommend you waste your time on this. It's a thorough...
It's a waste of time for sure, but I'm recommending that you waste your time. I don't recommend to waste your time on this and just wait for the new season of Clone Wars that are coming. Okay, well.
Thank you, sir, and or madam. I don't.
Well, okay, hold on. I just saw this. I have to read this too.
What
Some people can say it's a show for kids, but it doesn't have any elements for a small kids show to justify it. And even shows meant for kids have many good stuff that the whole family can enjoy. Like Toy Story, Cars, etc.
All right.
This is good.
All
right, so these are the people watching the show. So maybe I will tone down my critique of it.
After you watch it, you should go on IMDb and write a review, Michael.
It is losing it is touch.
It is losing it is touch. Yes.
By the way, real quick.
I don't understand half of those complaints, but...
By the way, real quick, going back to the demographic for these ratings, 498 males rated this.
Sure.
38 females.
That's the voice of Star Wars.
the angry man babies.
The voice of Star Wars.
Old angry man babies.
Angry man babies.
Wow. It's so true.
That's why, that's
again,
why Star Wars is always in the news for toxicity. 203
30 to 44 males, age 30 to 44 males.
Right.
13 age 30 to 44 females.
The screaming man babies strike again. Review bombing Star Wars because it is ruining.
It's losing it is touch.
It is losing it is touch.
So that's great. So yeah, I'll definitely watch the whatever's available.
Just
the next time we record.
Talking about that, like if those are complaints of other people saying like it's just in one place and there's a whole galaxy, like to me, I'm like, shit, finally. It's just in one place.
Exactly.
Telling a story somewhere else.
Before. Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be the same 5 people running around doing adventures.
Right.
Like, thank God we're seeing somewhere new on some other planet with new people and different things that have nothing to do with anything because it's like normal human life.
Yeah.
Like we watch, how many cop shows are there on TV that are just cops doing their job in a different city? And that shit is like that makes money constantly on cable television. You pop out a cop show and you're like, you get 6 seasons automatically.
Yeah.
But you can't make a Star Wars show that's just like a thing happening in a place, like every cop or lawyer show on TV.
Yeah.
But Star Wars, it has to span the galaxy and have these wide-reaching adventures.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm excited that it's just a thing at a place with a guy, and it'll just be its own story.
It's funny too because I mean, okay, I'm going off this one review.
But it'll get bigger
Actually,
because he's supposed to spy on the First Order, so it will get larger, but you don't have to start at that level.
But that's where I was about to go with that. So I'm looking at some of these other reviews, and a lot of them are saying kind of the same thing here. But so this guy says, he's saying a lot of stuff. One of the things he says is they don't in the. I'll paraphrase because it's this written terribly.
Is the English bad again?
It's awful. He's basically saying you don't feel the weight and the horror, he writes in quotes, that the First Order can be.
Because that's what we're learning. That's the point of the show.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna say, number one, it's only 3 episodes in. They haven't even. You could have a whole arc on the First Order that they haven't even gotten to yet.
First Order members for like a total of 10 seconds so far.
Okay. All right. Well, so there's that. Second of all, I mean, isn't this the whole point of the show? Is to get in?
Yes.
It's early. It's before
it's
the First Order.
So, like in the very first episode, Poe is explaining how they have realized that the First Order means business. It is not as little of a problem as everyone thinks it is.
Right.
Everyone is dismissing the Resistance and their thoughts on the First Order because it's nothing. They're not.
It's
they're
very
not
early
anything
in
we
this,
have to worry about
in this time.
But Leia and Poe understand that this is a big problem.
Right.
Especially like if you read Bloodlines, like Leia knows there's something coming. Right.
Well, I think that Bloodlines, that whole book was like a wake up call for her because of that whole encounter with the station.
Right.
And
like
all
they're
that
building
stuff.
an army.
And yeah, the stuff with the senator that was going on and realizing that a bunch of people in the Senate are pulling for a new empire.
So that's the whole point of the show. And that's how it opens. It's like they realize there is a big problem and a big thing coming. So they've put this kid in the middle of nowhere to act like he's nobody, to try to keep eyes and ears out for someone they believe is helping the First Order on this platform.
It sounds like kind of I don't even want to say a slow burn again, because it's only been 3 episodes.
Right. But like, it's gonna get there. That's the whole point of him being a spy, to find out stuff about the First Order. And I'm sure there'll be a big involvement. Maybe he's captured by the First Order at some point. Like something big will happen. It's not just going to be this kid eating beef jerky in a mechanic's garage for 10 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lame.
I don't understand.
Yeah, a lot of these reviews are saying things like, "This isn't the Star Wars I know." Well, yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly. It's
good.
Different.
Right.
No, we're not going to just show A New Hope on repeat.
We're not Spike.
Market it as a new show.
Right. They just turn the movies into episodes.
Another review is saying they're mad that Rebels got canceled to be replaced with this.
What?
Now that confuses me.
The story was finished. They finished it and ended it. With
Dave Filoni and crew should be embarrassed to pass this crap on to the public. That horrible animation, bad stories, worse voice acting than even the usual Marvel direct-to-video movie. What is he talking about? Have there been any Marvel direct-to-video movies?
Aren't most of the Marvel like cartoons, like the animated films?
Oh, who's watching that shit?
This guy.
This guy.
Right.
Who's got 2 thumbs and watches Marvel direct-to-video? This guy.
The voice acting's fine. I don't.
From M. Horg 2018.
M. Horg?
M. Horg.
Great.
Mahorg?
Mahorg. Well,
jump on Mahorg, my lady.
that's his line. So it's such a problem that is the demographic. If this is the
future of Star Wars under the Disney umbrella, please sell the franchise to someone who will care more than just about money.
It's a TV show on the Disney Channel.
Oh my God, it's been 3 episodes.
It's a TV show on the Disney Channel.
Wow. Yeah, once again, I let's see if this guy rated Last Jedi. I'm really interested to know. And taking too long.
There's a point. There's a point when you're an adult.
A long time ago.
Like we're all getting older. And every second, all of us are getting older. And there's a point as you get older that you have to realize, oh wait, the entire world and everything in it wasn't created just for me.
Yeah, exactly.
There was stuff you enjoyed as a child because it was made for you as a child. There is stuff for you as an adult that is made for you as an adult. The stuff that is now made for children is not necessarily geared towards you, 48-year-old man. No matter how much you touch yourself to My Little Pony, the resistance might not be made for you. It might be actually towards the demographic for the Disney Channel, which probably is in the lower teens or younger.
And I don't understand. This guy has
God, it makes me so angry.
372 reviews.
Who has the time?
I don't understand.
They are reviewing media more than consuming the media.
Man.
How? It's loud man babies. I
don't understand how
the internet
who does this
is a screaming pile of loud man babies.
Jeez. Burn it all.
Of course, we're being loud man babies right now, complaining about.
But it's different because we have a platform
that no one has to listen to.
That we created ourselves.
Right. Great.
Anyway, moving on.
Sure. So, all that to say, don't be a loud man baby. Watch The Resistance. And if you don't like it, move on. Who cares?
Wow.
Like, we complained about Rebels, but we at multiple points we agreed it was just not for us. It was not made for us. We understood it wasn't made for us, and as much as we didn't like it, it's fine that other people did, right?
Other people like it. That's fine. They're dumb for liking it. But
sure, but like it definitely, especially like you would complain. I know you complain specifically about like the dumb humor in Rebels.
Oh, what?
Especially the dumb humor in Rebels, right?
Yeah.
But that's very much
the dumb quippy.
And just like us complaining a few episodes ago about like any TV show that's on Disney Channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even Nickelodeon that's not animated. Any live action TV show on either of those channels, I watch it, I'm like, an alien came here and made a TV show. What human being thinks that any of this was a good idea? And why are people laughing at it in this laugh track?
The cheese wizards of Betty Street.
Yeah, and the whole episode is just them flopping in a pool full of cheese. And there's a laugh track for like 30 minutes and then it's over.
Yep.
And there's 400 episodes of it. Right? So,
or there are 3 episodes and they're just on repeat constantly.
And I'll watch some of that stuff sometimes and just sit there and be like, what is happening? Is there any plot line? It's just every episode is like those old episodes of TV shows where like someone comes home with a puppy and then the house catches on fire and then Aunt Betty came over for dinner and the meatloaf burned and then it's over and everyone laughs. Like what was it? What happened? What was any of that?
Meatloaf the man burned.
Yeah. He got stuck in the oven because the puppy crawled in there.
Meatloaf loves puppies.
Yeah, it was Meatloaf's puppy.
You can't fault him.
It was Meatloaf's puppy, also named Meatloaf.
It's very confusing.
Yes.
But
they kept calling Meatloaf, and he's like, yes, every time. It was just the whole thing. Yeah, and there was a laugh track for 20 seconds after each time they said the word meatloaf. But like, okay, that stuff is weird, and I don't get it. And I don't know if anyone is actually watching that stuff unless they're stuck at home because they're homeschooled. Because I remember watching stuff like that because I had nothing else to do.
True.
But it's made for somebody that's not me. So whatever, I guess it's weird and I don't understand it and I can't fathom anyone consuming that media, but it's there and I'm not going on IMDb and bitching about it. So just same with Rebels. Like I understood that I don't like Rebels. I just don't. But I stopped watching it. I didn't keep watching it and keep bitching about it. And I understand that other people like it a lot. I don't understand that, and that's fine. Just like I like The Last Jedi, and apparently everyone in humanity hated The Last Jedi because they were so boisterous about it, but then it sold the best-selling Blu-ray of the year.
Here's the difference with that, though. Well, okay, I'm about to generalize a lot here, but someone who liked The Last Jedi, like us, let's say us.
Sure.
These people are us.
We liked The Last Jedi thoroughly.
We like The Last Jedi thoroughly, and we have reasons to back that up. I feel very logical and solid reasons.
And there's stuff we don't like in The Last Jedi. There's stuff that I think is like...
yeah, it's not perfect.
It's just like any film, there is criticism, but it has to be a valid criticism and have a reason for criticizing it, right?
Right. Now, I'm saying my challenge is to people who genuinely enjoy Rebels, give me some logical reasons for that. I think I've asked for that before. I don't know.
And I mean, people have said stuff about liking the storylines with Maul, or just learning more about the Force, or
all right.
People love the stuff with Bendu, apparently.
I guess that's true. There are elements of Rebels that I can appreciate.
There's interesting stuff in there. I wish I didn't have to watch the show to find it out.
Yeah, that's a good.
Maybe that's
a good
the
way
way
to
that's
put
the
it.
way I feel about it. Like it's like I don't have just
Well,
like I don't
we've
have
said that before though.
I don't have time and I don't want to read all the comic books. So every once in a while I'll just like go on the wiki or go somewhere just to catch up on like what's the plot that's been happening.
Yeah.
Is anything like cool or important happening that I just want to know about?
We've said that
'Cause
before.
then maybe I'll
like
go read that
the show
one.
jammed stuff into it that we care about, but unfortunately, you have to get around the show to
Right.
learn that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like they were jamming stuff into show to make it relevant. Is how that's what we've said for a while now. That's how we feel about that show. But anyway, I feel like it's different. Our reasons for liking The Last Jedi and how a bunch of man babies didn't like The Last Jedi, and then this whole
Well, there's criticism and then there's just yelling for the sake of yelling.
Rebels conversation. Yeah.
True. And because we have this thing that we put out that no one probably listens
No
to.
one listens to.
Like we bitch purposely about Rebels because we enjoy making
Bitching.
fun of it.
Yeah.
And being funny.
It's a good punching bag.
When we're not on here, it's not like we're yelling in the streets and like punching people that have like Rebels paraphernalia
and
on
leaving
them.
372
Right.
reviews online.
Exactly. It's for the sake of the podcast, not because we're doing that all the time or talking about it elsewhere.
Anyway, we spent way longer than I thought we
did.
would on that.
I don't know, just getting into those reviews and just still hearing that shit, which I know it's going to happen constantly, but just like that's the state of Star Wars right now.
I think that's the future for this stuff.
And that's why there's
Until these
constant
people
there's
finally-
constant stuff happening around Star Wars because of these type of people.
Do you think people will let go eventually, or do you think they'll just hang on and complain the whole time?
I hope so. As more and more stuff comes out, I hope they just go away. Just stop watching it.
Yeah. I'm wondering though, because those are the people who have the free income to subscribe to things like the Disney streaming service and to pre-order tickets and books and comic books and like all this junk. As people like that leave, I wonder if that will send the wrong message to Disney and Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Saying like the financial message of, okay, things are starting to take a hit here. Maybe we need to listen to these people. Like the stuff that's been happening with Marvel, like with Chuck Wendig and James Gunn. All these man babies cried about this stuff that really was, it was taken out of context.
Right.
And because they're the people who are kind of financially
like,
invested.
sorry, you're good at what you do, but there's toxic people that don't like you, and they pay us money, so sorry, you can't do stuff.
Now,
for us
maybe the
anymore.
Marvel situation is different because
Marvel's toxic.
there could be shitty
anyways.
people who are making those decisions to fire these people. And that hasn't really happened in Star Wars yet.
Yeah.
So we can't make that judgment yet. But I'm wondering if that's like, go away, man babies, but let's keep what we have now and keep, I would like to still see like innovation, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's
exploring new territory with
Star Wars,
story.
the problem is how big Star Wars is and how long it's been as big as it is. Right? Because most things that are franchises of this size haven't stayed that. It's like the biggest IP that exists, right?
Yeah. One of the biggest,
Of especially with the lasting power that it's had.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to compare it to. That's just stayed.
Star Trek has been around longer, but has had nowhere near the same success.
Not from a cultural standpoint.
Yeah.
Right. Star Wars has just like always been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it difficult. Is everyone feels they own Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everyone has this very personal connection to this thing because it's just been there for. Now we have these 40-something-year-old man babies that are bitching about it.
Not only just been around, but been around in pretty much the same form.
Right.
This whole time. Because
then Disney came and changed everything and took away the EU, and then everyone's like, my whole life is gone. You had stories that you enjoyed. What are you complaining about?
I mean, up until, what has it been? 7 years ago, it's been one guy controlling the whole thing, basically. Or having final say on everything, and now we're kind of getting into new territory and exploring stuff. So it's starting to change.
So Harry Potter, I'll compare Star Wars to Harry Potter, even though I know it's probably just as big in some different demographics.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
There's a lot of crossover, I think, in fans.
But like Harry Potter was this big thing in like my childhood and other people who are now our age and even maybe a little older who read the books, and then the movies came out, right?
I would say excuse maybe younger than us, the fans.
Maybe a little
typically.
bit, but like I don't know. I would think.
Well, because think about when Star Wars came out in the
Well,
70s.
yes, people were
our
maybe in their
parents were
30s when they
into
saw it, and then so now have people who are
older.
way older
Yeah.
watching it, right?
So I'd say Harry Potter is the next generation version of that.
Right.
probably.
So, and obviously, it's a much shorter time span of having the Fantastic Beast movies.
Yeah.
But like, I watched the Harry Potter movie. I love the Harry Potter movies, and I love the books.
Mhm.
When the Fantastic Beast movies came out, I thought they were stupid and dumb, and like, why are you ruining the Harry Potter universe? Like, that's that. But to the level that these people, not to the level that these people do, but I'm like, this is dumb. So I'm just not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
agreed.
don't like it. So I'm just gonna like stick with the stuff that I liked.
That's
like
the mindset.
It did not ruin the Harry Potter movies for me. It doesn't
Right.
ruin the books for me. I still enjoy watching and participating in those.
That's the mindset I don't
And
get.
Fantastic Beast movies are in this universe and are pre the Harry Potter movie,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're pre Harry Potter, so like, oh, you're ruining what's gonna happen. Everything I knew is wrong and bad now. Like that, no, just none of that changed. Just because they make a different story about other things, it doesn't affect your experience at all.
As
You're
far
the
as I
ass,
know-
not them.
As far as I know, the stuff that J.K. Rowling has already written about before these movies were coming out,
Right.
like she's making references to stuff that she already had. Like
Right.
weren't there basic story elements from this era that
Yes.
these movies are exploring now that she had already established?
Right.
So it's not even like a Star Wars thing where George went back and kind of rewrote
Right.
some of the stuff people were imagining.
Making the prequels where it kind of completely changed
Yeah.
the stuff about it completely changed Darth Vader.
Or now where they basically threw away the whole EU,
Right.
most of it.
Right.
You know, it's not even like that with this. So it's like it's still one person controlling it, and it's not like they're ruining it. It's not like she's
I would never
ruining-
understand that mindset of like just watch the thing that you enjoy and just don't participate in the thing you don't like.
Yeah. I mean, all these internet man babies. I don't know what it is about. Everyone
Like,
has a voice.
I love
now?
Friday the 13th. I don't watch Jason Goes to Hell more than the one time that I've seen it, right? Because it's just, why would I ever watch that movie again?
Yeah.
Like there's bad things are made that you don't like. Like
Yeah.
there's things that you think are bad that you don't like. So just don't.
Just don't watch it.
I don't like spaghetti, so I don't eat it. I don't go to a restaurant, order spaghetti, and then bitch at the waiter that my spaghetti is something that I don't like.
Right.
So don't pay for a ticket or don't go on TV or watch a show going into it knowing you're not going to like it just because it's a thing like, well, it's Italian food and I like Italian food, but I know it's spaghetti, so I'm not going to like that, but I'm going to get it anyways to see if it's different Italian spaghetti.
It's still spaghetti, you motherfucker.
No matter what you do, it's spaghetti. So if you don't like, I don't just go. Oh, just go away.
Just go away, please.
We turn this into an hour of just complaining about the Star Wars.
Complaining
fan
about complainers.
base. Right.
All right, real quick. We have two things to talk about, and then we'll get out of
Sure.
here.
Dominic Monaghan is in episode 9. The end.
Okay, the end. Next.
As anyone will remember, Dominic Monaghan was Charlie in the Lost television show.
And
JJ was the creator of that.
what else was he? More importantly.
I'm talking in reference to JJ.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was
Well, you
also
didn't say that.
He was also Merry in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
But as far as JJ goes, JJ didn't have anything to do with Lord of the Rings.
Okay. As far as we know.
As far as we know, there were no lens flares that I'm aware of. So Dominic Monaghan was on an interview on a podcast saying how like JJ's a friend of mine, and he said to me at some point I'd get the opportunity to read the script for 9, but he told him, be aware of the fact that there are massive sequences in Act 2, there are massive sequences in Act 3, but because we're shooting Act 1 first, I've put you in there, and you seem to not be around as much in Act 2 and 3, but that's because that's what we're doing first. So I want you here. I want you invested. So read the script, but just know that there won't be long until there will be a redraft of those things, and we'll see you a little bit more. So I read it, and the script is amazing, and obviously there isn't a lot I can say.
I can't tell which one they're shooting first, but yeah, basically,
Act 1.
basically they're
Abrams
rewriting
said he
some
had the
things.
sensibility and age range to portray the character as he'd written. He also revealed that he had met with the actors behind Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2 while on set, which would suggest that he's affiliated with the Resistance, maybe. And since the character seems to be present throughout, possibly the entire film, he might be kind of like how Poe was in The Force Awakens.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's very interesting that like JJ brought him in to be in the movie.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even really it doesn't seem like he was a character that was already pre-written into the script.
Well, it sounds like he had a small role, but then they're rewriting a few of these acts to include him a bit more.
Him further.
Yeah. So that he's like trying to get him involved and invested in this now.
Just got his buddy into the film. Was like, oh well, now that you're in, let's put you in everything.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I don't know what he would be. It is funny when you talk about him being what Poe was in Force Awakens. Poe is going to end up being the season general kind of person.
Yeah.
In 9.
He'll be the
I'd
Leia,
imagine.
I think.
Yeah.
Right.
What's her name? Holdo will probably be involved. Holdo? Admiral Holdo?
The one that died?
Oh, no.
All right.
Hey, that happened.
The one that performed the Holdo maneuver?
Totally blanked on that one.
No, she's
very dead.
Very much dust.
Yeah, hyperspace dust. Okay, she's not in that one?
Nope.
So,
if she is, there'll be some explaining to do.
If she is, I'll be like, great, makes sense. Perfect. Sure. Works for me.
Didn't ruin my childhood. But yeah, Poe will definitely be like the Leia figure, especially if what seems to be the rumor of there being a time jump.
The rumor does come out.
Yep. And I mean, obviously, of the two extra people that we know that were cast,
time jump. It'll be like Back to the Future. It'll be like we see them right after 8 ended, and then they time travel.
And then it goes. Yeah, sure. The two males that we know that were cast of Benedict Cumberbatch, right? Not
that was worth.
Not
that was
Benedict Cumberbatch.
worth
What am I
me.
thinking? Matt Smith.
Huh? What?
Is it Matt Smith was cast?
What?
I said Benedict Cumberbatch for some reason when I meant Matt Smith.
They're
not the same people.
Tall, skinny British people.
Sure. Of Benedict Cumberbatch and Dominic Monaghan, like those are two very obviously like one is not the First Order type of person, and one is definitely a British tall person that is going to be part of the First Order, right?
Yeah. You can pretty much guess.
Right, just based off of that, like I am going to assume that there's not going to be a tall, skinny British person in the Resistance. It's probably going to be part of the First Order with slicked back hair. And then you've got like Dominic. What is he? Is he Australian or New Zealand?
I don't know.
I don't even remember what he is.
He's British, isn't he?
Maybe.
Isn't he British?
But you've got this smaller dude. He's shorter than Matt Smith, and I don't know. I do not picture him as being a First Order type person, just based off of their personalities and people that they tend to play.
What the hell? He was married to Evangeline Lilly from 2004 to 2009.
Right. I forgot about that.
What the hell?
What the shit?
But he's so short. He's tiny.
But he's tiny and she's pretty.
He's a little. He's just a little man. Where was he born? He was born in Germany.
Sure.
So he's a European fella.
One of them there.
5'7". He's shorter than me.
See? You're not allowed to be in the First Order, I think, if you're under like 6. 6 foot's like the cutoff. But yeah, just based off of those actors, I'm pretty sure it's
Germany.
Easy to assume.
He moved to England when he was 11. So
okay, so he's English. So yep, that's the thing about him. It looks like we'll have more of Dominic Monaghan in the film.
Yep. No, doing who knows what, some kind of resistance related,
running around and resisting. That's what they do.
All right, I think that's enough for today. We could save this for. Save the other thing we had for some other time. It's not time sensitive.
It's not important. It's not time sensitive. Those people don't have to know about that threat of attack on the embassy. Anyways.
Huh?
I don't know. I'm done.
You talking about? Is this the Saudi thing? What are you talking about?
Sure. I was just thinking of time sensitive things.
Oh. Did you see that tweet that I sent you the other day of somebody saying, like, it was a Facebook post. It looked Photoshopped, but it was somebody saying, like, I just learned that China is 12 hours ahead of the U.S. Why didn't they warn us about 9/11?
Yes, I saw. Yep.
Why didn't they warn us about 9/11?
So one.
Like, imagine in her mind, according to this screenshot from the internet, who knows if it was Photoshop, but imagine in this person's mind that the rest of the world that's in a different time zone ahead of us.
They had already seen this happen.
They have knowledge of the future.
Yeah, obviously.
They've experienced.
They're ahead in time, Michael.
They are in our future.
Yeah.
So
You didn't know that?
They know everything that is going to happen to us.
Yeah. Do you remember that TV show that was on, like, it was maybe CBS or NBC? It was back when we were kids or teens, where there was this guy that every morning he would get a newspaper.
Kids or teens on ABC.
He would get a newspaper, but it was tomorrow morning's newspaper. So he would, like, know the stuff that was going to happen tomorrow. And so he would like save people that were going to get murdered and stuff like that.
Oh, no.
It was I don't remember what it was called.
Every episode?
Yeah, that was the
Why
point.
are they
The
writing
point
about
of the
so many
show.
murders in the newspaper?
Just like stuff that happened, he would like try to help stop it because he knew what was going to happen based off of the newspaper in his town, in his city.
Interesting.
Whatever. So that's what this person's thinking. Like in China, they're getting the newspaper tomorrow. Like today, they're getting our newspaper from yesterday.
Right.
Or from tomorrow. Sorry.
Tomorrow.
They're getting tomorrow morning's newspaper in China, and they knew like, oh well, 9/11 happened. I guess that'll be interesting for them. And then they just instead of helping people like the guy in the TV show does, they just go on about their business. That's what I imagine they're believing is taking place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end.
That's it.
If you enjoy the podcast, please go on to the iTunes or other places and leave various stars and words recommending us to others. Because there's no bad words on the internet. So
I think
we've good things.
Have we reached peak review?
Yep. No one has reviewed in months. So
which means
if you haven't done it,
which means obviously everyone that's listening to this has reviewed our show. And if that's not the case,
cannot be true. Cannot possibly be true.
If that's not the case, then you got some
do it
explaining
now
to do.
Or it'll be too late because we'll stop making the show. Of course, as always, if you would like to contact us, you can find us on Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can find us via email at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com. We're on Facebooks and YouTube and various other places. If you really enjoy the show, you can go to patreon.com/hokeyreligion and give us money. Is that a nice way to put that? You can support the show because it does cost money to release this thing, and we're just footing that bill ourselves for over 2 years now.
We buy mics every episode.
We should really stop buying those disposable mics.
Disposable microphones.
By the end of the episode, they're covered in spit, and the cardboard is starting to melt. You know, the old disposable cardboard mics.
Yep.
$200 per mic. We really should stop doing that.
It's kind of expensive for cardboard.
It's gold-plated cardboard.
But they ship quickly. Less than 24 hours.
So, yeah, it's if you enjoy the show, it's not free for us, and so it
shouldn't be free for you.
We could do something about that, but then no one would listen. But no, if you really enjoy the podcast, you can always support us to help help us make the show.
Send us $2 and then cancel. We'll send you a sticker.
Give us $2, you get a sticker. And most of those $2 will just go to sending you the sticker. But you're basically just buying a sticker from us. So if you want a sticker, just go on there and get a sticker by giving us $2. Yep, that's all.
Yep.
It's the old.
We're everywhere
show.
else too.
Yep.
Go to hokeyreligion.com. It has all the.
Sometimes I'm at Publix.
Publix?
Sometimes I'm there.
What?
You're talking about we're all the places. Sometimes I'm at
us
Publix.
personally.
Yeah.
We're all the places?
Sometimes I'm at Publix.
That's all you do.
That's all I do. Yeah.
The one that's just down there.
I wait until they bring out the hot chicken strips, and then I'm gone.
The sexy chicken
Every
strips.
day at 3 p.m. I'm waiting for hot chicken strips. You can come find me at Publix.
Do you have some of those sexy chicken strips?
Hot chicken strips.
Teddy's back.
Oh shit! I jump in my shopping basket and I row away like it's a boat.
Your fake mustache didn't work.
It's just slapped on my cheek. It's not even on where a mustache goes. It's just on the side of my face. I thought this would work.
Teddy's got it on his cheek this time.
Where do you want it? I don't understand.
Where do you want it? You ask her, and she tells you, and you move it.
Where would it work? Please tell me.
You move it. Right in front of her. And you're like, okay,
So, about those chicken strips.
So I heard you have chicken strips.
Yeah, that's every day at 3 p.m. that happens.
Okay, well, good for you.
Well, that's probably more than enough from us. This has been episode 83 of Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster at your side.